Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture on stereotype threat. Here's the definition. Stereotype threat is a threat or fear of, one, being viewed through the lens of a negative stereotype, or two, doing something that inadvertently confirms a stereotype. So again, it focuses mainly on negative stereotypes. The impact: stereotype threat leads to feelings of being judged unfairly based on these stereotypes. That's according to Kleck and Strunta in 1980. What's the important stereotype threat? It is linked to diminished performance based on associated psychological stress. This is according to Claude Steele, 1999. So again, the stress that's associated with it will diminish the performance, and Steele worked a lot on various things like math. Why do you want to focus on stereotype threat? It reduces reducing stereotype threat. It supports an open and relaxed posture for learning, and it improves academic performance. What are some dangers of stereotype threat? Conversations that if you try to have them in class to sort of help deal with the situation. First, stereotypes can hyper-define or over-determine differences between traditional students, such as those whose parents attended college versus new students. So they can have different views of their abilities. And two, they can sanitize differences so that real challenges are muted or made invisible. So in an attempt to sort of deal with the stereotype threat, it can actually have these negative consequences. This is something you might want to think about in terms of your own instruction. What stereotype threats might be in your classroom or academic discipline? For example, Steele talked about the idea of mathematics instructions, and depending on, say, like gender, he found that some women, when they're confronted with the idea of stereotype threat within mathematics, that they might underperform. It induced psychological stress and reinforced their poor performance. Dealing with stereotype threats in the classroom, there are a couple things you could do. You might want to diffuse the threat with environmental cues. For example, you might want to say, this is a difficult assignment. Most students really struggle with it the first time through. So it kind of makes it diffuse across everyone in the class. And two, encourage a malleable view of intelligence. For example, you could say, academic reading is challenging, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's like a muscle. When I was first in grad school, blah, blah, blah. You can talk about your own challenges and how you overcame them. Three, you might want to use wise criticism to create trust. This is where A, you tell students you think they're capable of attaining great success and achievement, and B, this helps students feel less defensive and threatened. That was Stereotype Threats. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you again soon.